Welcome to the lecture series of signal system. In previous few lectures, we have seen how to determine the coefficients of trigonometric Fourier series and how to determine the coefficient Cn of the exponential complex exponential Fourier series. In this lecture, I will include an example to determine the Fourier coefficient Cn, and then we will move to a next topic, which is an extension of the Fourier series applicable for the non-periodic signals called Fourier transform. So we will include one example first, then we will go for the Fourier transform. We will develop the foundation for the Fourier transform. Suppose there is a signal xt for which this is a periodic signal xt which extension is from minus t1 to plus t1, and also this signal is periodic with the period of t naught. This signal is periodic with the period of t naught. Suppose here it's t naught by 2, here it's minus t naught, here it's minus t naught by 2. This is a rectangular waveform, periodic with a period t naught. For this signal, we have to determine the complex exponential Fourier series Cn. After determining the Cn, we can find out the Fourier series expansion in the form of complex exponential of the Fourier series. So we know the signal xt can be written as summation of complex exponentials as n is from minus infinite to infinite Cn e power j n omega naught into t. This is the representation of a general signal xt in the form of complex summation of complex exponentials multiplied by a constant Cn, and Cn can be determined by using the relation Cn is equal to 1 upon t naught integration over one time period xt e power minus j n omega naught into t. So by using these two relations, we can comfortably convert this signal xt, we can comfortably convert a rectangular pulse in the form of summation of complex exponentials by using these two relations. This relation, everything is known, omega naught is known, and its integral integers from minus infinite to plus infinite, and what we have to calculate is the value of this constant Cn by using this relation. So we will go for the determination of Cn by using the relation Cn is equal to 1 upon t naught integration over one time period. This one time period I can take from minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2. I will take it as minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2. Amplitude of the signal is 1. It means that in this duration from minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2, in minus t1 to plus t1, the amplitude of the signal is 1, value of the signal is 1, means x of t is equal to 1, I will put here, and then e power minus j n omega naught into t dt. Further, because from minus t naught by 2 to minus t1, value of the signal is 0. From t1 to t naught by 2, value of the signal is 0. So we can put this limit from minus t1 to plus t1. Minus t1 to plus t1 e power minus j n omega naught t dt. We have to calculate this integration. Now this will become 1 upon t naught e power minus j n omega naught t upon minus j n omega naught, limit from minus t1 to plus t1. Now we will put value of limit in this integration, upper limit minus lower limit. Now this integration will become 1 upon t naught e power minus j n omega naught t1 minus e power j n omega naught t1. When we will put this minus t1 here, one minus is already there. This minus will become plus e power plus j n omega naught t1 divided by minus j n omega naught. This is what we will get from integration of this quantity e power minus j n omega naught t. Now, because there is a minus sign here, I will reverse this difference and write it as 1 upon t naught e power plus j n omega naught t1 minus e power minus j n omega naught t1 divided by j n omega naught naught. Now this will become after further simplification, this Cn will become equal to 1 upon t naught e power plus j n omega naught t1 minus e power minus j n omega naught t1 divided by, I will put n into omega naught outside of this bracket. This will become t naught n omega naught into, here it is j. If we will multiply and divide by 2, multiply with 2 and divide by 2, here multiply with 2 and divide by 2 in this relation will become e power plus j n omega naught t1 minus e power minus j n omega naught t1 divided by 2j. And we remember, if we remember, e power sin theta can be written as e power j theta minus e power minus j theta upon 2j. Instead of theta, the value of theta can be comparable with n omega naught t1. It means that this will become sine of n omega naught t1 here. So I will write this value of Cn in the form of sinusoidal signal as Cn is equal to 2 by t n omega naught into sine of n omega naught t1. This is what we will get from here. And now if we will consider this quantity n omega naught as a single omega, then we can write this equation as Cn is equal to 2 by t omega into sine of omega into t1, or we can write as t times Cn is equal to 2 sine omega into t1 upon omega. This is what we will get if we are going to calculate the value of Cn in the form of sinusoidal signal sine of omega t1. Now, if I will plot the magnitude spectrum of this coefficient Cn, then how it will look like? Magnitude spectrum means graph between magnitude of Cn and n omega naught, or we can say omega. Here it is mod of t times Cn, and here is the n omega naught. This omega is constant, omega naught is constant. Omega naught is equal to 2 pi by fundamental period of the signal t naught. Omega naught is constant, n will vary from minus infinite to plus infinite. That's why this term omega will also keep varying. Now, if we see, now we will try to plot first the envelope of this signal. First, we will plot the envelope of this given function with respect to n omega naught. To plot the envelope, first we will check the value of the function at omega equal to 0, means n equal to 0. Value of the function at n equal to 0. At n equal to 0, omega is equal to n omega naught. Because n is 0, it means that omega will also be equal to 0. Means we have to check the value of this function at omega is equal to 0. This will become 2 sine 0 upon 0. And what will be the value of sine 0 upon 0? This is not infinite, this is not 0, this is equal to 1. You can check it by applying the L'Hospital's rule and by applying the limit t tends omega tends to 0. Now, it means that value of this function at n equal to 0, at omega equal to 0 will be equal to 2. And when we will get 0, first 0 we will get when this coefficient, or we can say angle or argument, this is 2 sine omega t1 upon omega. When we will get first 0, when this term will become equal to pi, and this will become equal to pi, means if omega t1 is equal to pi, then what will be the value of omega? It will be equal to pi by t1, means at pi by t1 the value of the function will become 0. We will get this here pi by t1. Second 0 will occur at 2 pi by t1, and third 0 at minus 3 plus 3 pi by t1. Same will be repeated in the left side of the y-axis, minus pi by t1, minus 2 pi by t1, and minus 3 pi by t1. So the envelope of this function will look like, because as the value of omega will increase, as the value of omega will increase, the value of sin omega t1 will remain in its range from -1 to +1, means this total value 2 sin omega t1 will vary in between from -2 to +2, while this denominator value of the omega is, it will keep increasing. Denominator is increasing while numerator remains in the range of -1 to +1. It means that the value of the function will keep decreasing as the value of omega is going to increase. Here the envelope of this signal will look like, here it will become 0, go to negative, then again 0, and then again 0, and this will show a damped oscillation. This will look like this. The envelope of the function will look like this. And if we will plot the spectrum, means for the values, different values of n, if we will plot this function 2 sine n omega naught t1 divided by n omega naught. If we will plot for the different values of n, for n equal to 0, we will get this line. For n equal to 1, for n equal to 1, we will get this line. When n will be equal to 1, then this axis will become omega naught. And again at n equal to 2, this will become 2 omega naught. At n equal to 3, this will become 3 omega naught. This is how the magnitude spectrum of the Cn will look like. This is how the magnitude spectrum of Cn will look like. Now, if we observe, these are the lines spaced at the interval of omega naught. The separation between two lines here is equal to omega naught, and here, because this spectrum of is made up of lines, that's why it is called line spectrum. This is the line spectrum of the magnitude, or the magnitude plot of the coefficient Cn. Now, if we will look deeply in this separation of the lines, each line separation between each lines is omega naught, while the shape of the signal in the time domain was, the original signal was xt was this. Here is t naught by 2, here is t naught, and here is t1 minus t naught by 2, and here is minus t naught. Look at here, the separation between two lines in the line spectrum of the Cn is omega naught. Omega naught means omega naught is equal to 2 pi by t naught. Now consider a case if this fundamental time period of the signal is increasing, means if t naught is increasing, then this, if t naught will increase, then this omega naught will decrease, and when this omega naught will decrease, it means that separation of these two lines will decrease. If this t naught will keep increasing, if this t naught will keep increasing, then value of this omega naught will also will keep decreasing, and when this omega naught will keep decreasing, it means that the separation between these two lines will keep decreasing. And what will happen when this T naught will be increased to infinite? When T naught will increase to infinite, then the separation between these two lines will be infinitely small. Means this discrete spectrum will become a continuous spectrum when this T naught will tend to infinite. If this T naught will tend to infinite, then this omega naught will tend to 0. Means separation between these two lines will tend to 0, means separation will not remain in between lines of the line spectrum. If there is no separation in the lines, it means that this line spectrum now will be converted into a continuous spectrum. And what will happen with this signal xt if the value of t naught will increase? If value of this T naught will increase, it means that the separation here between two pulses will also increase. If value of T naught is increased, it means that here the separation is increasing. And when this T naught will tend to infinite, the separation becomes so larger between these two pulses that this periodic signal will become a periodic signal. It means that from this discussion, what we can conclude is, this is the conclusion, or we can say summary of the previous few minutes, that conclusion is that when fundamental period of the signal T naught tends to infinite, then a discrete spectrum, or we can say line spectrum, is converted into a continuous spectrum. When T naught tends to infinite, what will happen? This line spectrum is converted into a continuous spectrum, and the next is the periodic signal xt. Periodic signal xt is converted into a non-periodic signal or a periodic signal. Non-periodic signal. A periodic signal xt is converted into a non-periodic signal. This is where the Fourier transform starts. I can say that this is the foundation for the Fourier transform. If we increase the time period of the signal to the infinite, then this periodic signal will be converted into a non-periodic signal. It means that if in the transform Fourier series, in the formula of Fourier series, if we will consider the fundamental period of signal to be infinite, then this will be applicable for the non-periodic signals also. This is where the Fourier transform will start, which we can consider this statement in another way also. If T naught tends to infinite, then this periodic signal tends to become a non-periodic signal. It means that we can treat this non-periodic signal as a periodic signal with a period of infinite. We can consider this non-periodic signal as a periodic signal with a period of infinite duration. This will lead us to the foundation of Fourier transform. This is the conclusion of the previous few minutes. Now we will go to the Fourier transform in more detail. So we will start the Fourier transform from here. Consider some random signal. Suppose it is something like this. Suppose this is from minus t1 to t1 and its amplitude is 1. Now we can generate a periodic signal by using this signal, by repeating this signal to the right of y-axis and to the left of y-axis, as repeat the same pattern to the right and same pattern to the left, then this will look like this is also plus t1, this is minus t1, and its amplitude is 1. Here repeat it. Suppose period of the signal is t naught, here t naught by 2, here minus t naught, and here is minus t naught by 2. Because this signal xt, this signal now is a periodic signal with a period of t naught, then I will denote this signal as x subscript capital T of t, x subscript capital T of t. Because this is a periodic signal, so we can write the Fourier coefficient, exponential Fourier coefficient for this signal. We can write the exponential Fourier coefficient for this signal Cn as 1 by t naught integration over one time period. Suppose it is minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2 x subscript t of t into e power minus j n omega naught t dt. Now the in this duration from minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2, this signal x sub t can be replaced by this signal xt, because in this duration from minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2, these two signals are similar, they are same as to each other. In this duration from minus t by 2 to plus t by 2, I can replace this signal by this signal. So this coefficient Cn can be written as Cn is equal to 1 by t naught integration from minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2 x of t, means this signal, into e power minus j and omega naught t dt. Now because this signal, value of this signal is non-zero only in the duration from minus t1 to plus t1, value of this signal is non-zero in this duration only. For the other values of t, this signal, value of this signal is 0. So instead of writing from minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2, we can write it the limit of the integration from minus infinite to plus infinite. This change will not affect any way this calculation, because this signal is extended only from minus t1 to plus t1. For the remaining values of t, the value of the signal is 0. So, considering the limit from minus infinite to plus infinite will not affect the determination of the coefficient anyway. So, I will write it as this Cn is equal to 1 upon T naught, limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x t e power minus j omega t dt, where omega is equal to n omega naught, where omega is equal to n omega naught. Look at it again. Why we replaced this limit from minus t naught by 2 to plus t naught by 2 by limit from minus infinite to plus infinite? Because here if we integrate this signal from minus infinite to plus infinite, or we will integrate this signal from minus t1 to plus t1, it will result the same value, because for the remaining values of this limit, this signal will result in 0. What we are doing by integrating here is we are adding, summing up all the values of the signal, and in the summation if we will include these zeros also, this will not affect our calculation anyway. So I can put the limit here from minus infinite to plus infinite. Now this term Tn, T naught into Cn will be equal to minus infinite to plus infinite xt e power minus j omega t dt, because this limit minus infinite to plus infinite is on this variable t. After putting the limit of the integration, this t will be removed and this will become a function of omega only. So this will be equal to capital X of omega. This will be equal to capital X of omega, means this function assumed to be equal to a new function x of omega, which is function of frequency only, function of frequency content of this signal xt only, and this relation is called Fourier transform or continuous time Fourier transform. And remember, this signal xt is a non-periodic signal. It means that Fourier transform is applicable to the non-periodic signals also. Now, if Cn is equal to, from here we can write Cn is equal to x omega by t naught, then this signal xt can be written in the form of exponential Fourier series as Cn e power jn omega naught t, where n is from minus infinite to plus infinite, and this will be equal to minus infinite to plus infinite. Value of Cn is x of omega upon t naught into e power minus j n omega naught into t. Now multiply and divide in this equation by omega naught. This will become multiply with omega naught, and in this also multiply with omega naught. We know that omega naught is equal to 2 pi by t naught, then this omega naught into t naught will become equal to 2 pi. So from here I can write it as 1 upon 2 pi summation from minus infinite to plus infinite x omega into e power minus j omega t e power minus j omega t into omega naught e power minus j omega t into omega naught. Now we know if this omega naught is equal to 2 pi by t naught, if this t naught will tend to infinite, if this t naught will tend to infinite, then this omega naught will tend to 0. This omega naught will become very small, and then omega naught is equal to this omega naught is equal to n, this omega is equal to n into omega naught, because this omega naught will become very small, almost 0. When t naught will become infinite, this omega naught will almost become 0, and when this omega naught will become 0, then this n omega will make a very small increment, which is this small increment can be denoted as d omega. And when this omega will be increased by a very small amount d omega, then this summation will be converted into integration, and this relation will become xt is equal to 1 upon 2 pi, limit will remain same from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of omega e power minus j omega minus naught, it is here because plus sign is here, this is plus j omega t d omega, and this relation is called, because this relation converts the signal in the time domain to the signal in the frequency domain x omega, and this relation converts the signal in the frequency domain to the signal in the time domain, means this will convert from frequency domain to time domain, this will convert from time domain to frequency domain. This is the inverse relation of this, that's why this is called inverse Fourier transform. Inverse Fourier transform. This is inverse Fourier transform. So in this lecture what we have seen is how when we will tend the period of a signal to infinite, when the fundamental period of the signal tends to infinite, then the signal becomes non-periodic from periodic, and the line spectrum of the signal is converted to a continuous spectrum, and this transformation is called Fourier transformation, and this is called inverse Fourier transformation. So this is all for this lecture. In the next coming lecture we will discuss conditions for the existence of this Fourier transform and Fourier transform of some basic signals. This is all for this lecture. Thank you.